For any of you music fans in the audience, the 1984 classic song Holding On for a Hero, you might recall that Bonnie Tyler sang the following line: "Where have all the good men gone, and where are all the gods? Where's the streetwise Hercules to fight the rising odds?" As it turns out, that streetwise Hercules is currently sitting in a New York City courtroom facing up to 2 decades in prison for negligent homicide and manslaughter. His name is Daniel Penny. He bears a passing resemblance to this statue of a dying Gaul that was displayed in Rome 200 years before Christ. Shows the, noble virtue of this guy we're talking about here. Because much like the barbarian in this statue, he is standing proud as a token of masculine virtue and strength in the face of what is likely going to be a crushing defeat. For anybody who is unfamiliar with this case, let's recap. I have some notes here for you. On the afternoon of May 1st, 2023, a 30-year-old man named Jordan Neely boarded a New York City subway car. And depending on who you ask, Neely was best known for either his passable Michael Jackson impersonation or his long history of violent crime. Either way, though he was far from being a smooth criminal, subway riders were very likely to be struck by him, as one 67-year-old woman learned firsthand in November 2021 when Neely punched her directly in the face.
Unprovoked. But unprovoked. Not that it changes. Unprovoked.
Yes. She was struck by that smooth criminal. Yeah. He never showed up for court, which meant that by the time he boarded this subway car last year, there was still an active warrant for his arrest. As soon as he got on the train, he began harassing and threatening other passengers, throwing his jacket, walking around, screaming things like, "I'll kill anybody on this train. I'm going to hurt you all. I don't care if I go to jail. I'm ready to go to Rikers. I'm ready to do life." Things of that nature. While a mother and her child cowered behind their stroller and other passengers prayed that the doors would open, some people even described what he was doing as sickening and satanic. You had 25-year-old Marine Daniel Penny, who decided he was not going to sit idly by and allow harm to come to the people on the train with him. This was the situation that arose after that confrontation. Penny put Neely in a chokehold, and with the help of 2 other passengers, subdued him until the next stop.
Could we show this?
Let's roll that.
Yeah.
Just what happened afterwards. By the time they got to the next stop and the doors opened, Jordan Neely was dead.
So he already put him in the headlock.
Yeah, and it's important to note he also said, okay, place him in a prone position because he had already.
According to all eyewitnesses, Neely was struggling the entire time. At no point indicated he couldn't breathe. And this is an important point I'll touch on more later. But by the time they got to there, where he was in fully in that chokehold, it was not the kind of chokehold that could kill you. Even though chokeholds can be lethal, for them to actually kill a person, your head needs to be further forward and there needs to be more pressure on the carotid arteries. That is not what Daniel Penny was doing. So,
and I also believe it has to be maintained for a longer period of time than was maintained. There was a video on
a few minutes.
The dark side of the internet where these kids were doing like backyard wrestling, and the kid held another kid in a chokehold for like 2.5 minutes, and you're watching it's a disgusting video, and the kid died. Yeah. I mean, this immediately after he became or he stopped moving, they say put him over on the side, lean him over, put him in a prone position.
But he just died. But I mean, crap happened.
Well, and I don't know. You're going to get to the autopsy because I don't know that the evidence of the autopsy.
I will.
Okay.
Police waited 10 days to arrest Daniel Penny for this, during which point every high-profile New York Democrat called this a racist lynching and said that Daniel Penny was a deranged white supremacist vigilante. Eventually, when BLM was able to cause enough noise, Soros-backed prosecutor Alvin Bragg, who you might remember from the various Trump prosecutions, decided to bring him up on charges. Here's what the BLM protests look like as they took over the subway and blocked trains on the tracks.
We should call him Scumbrag.
No, what do you mean?
White
black
liberals.
Same people that are out protesting for Palestine.
Yeah, same group. Look at the gay flag.
Also, worth noting while we look at this, there was argument whether or not that he was ever going to get charged, but they really ramped up these protests.
This is pressure.
This was a lynch mob.
You will see people get onto the tracks and block trains in some of these videos. I don't know if we have that exact clip. But they were standing there, like, just walking around on the train tracks, stopping trains.
Always an excuse to show bodies.
No.
Why
doesn't it work?
Like, and by the way, none of these people even probably know what the hell is happening or what the story is. They're just, these people have no jobs and they have nothing to do about it.
No, it's just race. They just saw a
Of
white
course.
guy choking a black guy, and they went, well, we have to do something about this.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We don't know what, and we're not
Or-
going to accomplish anything.
Or okay, yeah, fine. We'll take the money and go walk around with signs. Which
But you know what it is, and on none of them really. Imagine if it was your wife or if you're black, your wife, your daughter, and there's a freaking psycho going, I'm gonna kill one of you pieces of shit, and then I'm choking them out. You're gonna react.
Brandon brought up a great point. The paid, hey, we'll pay you to go hold the sign.
That's why-
Remember where this
yeah.
happened? New York City.
Right.
Remember, Eric Adams came out and said that they were paid agitators in the crowds of the campus protests
Yep.
when it came to the Palestinian protesting. So you know, and that's a Democratic mayor in a Democratic city allegedly pointing out a right-wing talking point. None of that adds up unless there's actually it going on, and it's not a right-wing talking point. The Democrats covering it up is the actual scandal, not us talking about it.
And they have that geo-tracking data that shows that the same groups of people have been at different events for Kamala at each rally.
They're gonna bust.
You know, there's a precedent for them moving around a group of people to do things like this.
Yes.
AOC tweeted at the time, this honestly feels like a new low, not being able to clearly condemn a public murder. This is prior to a conviction, because the victim was of a social status some would deem, quote, too low, end quote, to care about. Can you imagine coming to the conclusion it was a public murder? The evidence was known relatively shortly thereafter. Like, it went from him being an innocent angel just aspiring Michael Jackson impersonator to someone who is a violent criminal with a recent history of unprovoked violent attacks on women.
With a warrant.
He was a homeless, drug-addled vagrant who was a menace to every person he interacted with.
Hey,
But-
careful, unhoused.
Unhoused,
Oh,
Connor.
forgive me for not
Chemically
having
dependent.
sympathy. But, you know, like I said, rather than throwing Daniel Penny the ticker tape parade that he well deserved for his actions on the train that day, they arrested him. He was released on $100,000 bail. Now, more than a year after his arrest, jury selection has begun. On Monday, he walked into the courtroom to begin that process. About 50 or so protesters dutifully showed up to show the conveniently placed cameras that, yes, he is a murderer and a racist, as this footage indicates.
Mayor Adams does not represent black New York.
Yes, yes.
Justice for. Say his name. Justice for.
Do we know who this person is?
We don't have his name yet.
And I
As you
say
can
it
see-
again.
Palestine. You're right. Look at the
This
Palestine
is a
guy.
race thing.
As you can see in the last
Because
year,
if
this
Jordan
has lost a
Neely
little bit of
was
steam.
white,
Now there's
Think so?
only
Because
only
if
about
Jordan
30
Neely was white,
That guy-
he would not be
That
dead
back.
right now.
Bullshit.
This would never happen
In my
to a
opinion,
white
Matt
person
Dowd.
in New York.
This happens to white people in New York almost
Shouldn't
constantly.
happen to
Alvin
anyone
Bragg,
in America.
do your job.
Do your time.
Thank you.
Let him to jail.
Go to
Justice for Jordan.
Nice letter jacket.
Justice
Where'd you
for
get that?
Jordan. Justice for Jordan. Justice for Jordan. Justice for Jordan.
So inside the
Justice
courtroom,
for
Yeah,
Jordan.
we
Keith
can
is
cut
leading
that
the
there.
chant.
Inside the courtroom, while jury selection began, the defense attorney asked 86 potential jurors, "Hey, raise your hand if you've heard of this case before." And almost every single hand went up, which means Daniel Penny will almost certainly not get a fair and
No,
impartial
of course
trial
not.
because everybody has reached a conclusion already.
I've been called the eternal optimist and even the naive Canadian. I mean, I remember, but not in detail, Bernie Getz, the guy who got off in the '70s when he arguably out looking for trouble, where Daniel Penny was not. I think enough people have gotten randomly punched in the face or stabbed in New York City, especially people who take the metro, that maybe it's not a foregone conclusion that he's going to get. Lynched by a politically motivated jury. Fingers crossed.
Oh,
but
Is it
I don't see
politically
how-
motivated or is it race motivated? Is this
it's both.
Same
So,
thing.
Both.
let me ask you a question. So, and this is going to sound retarded, and I'm sorry, but I am retarded.
No.
Is it at the point where we need to have different district attorneys for different races? Like, to remove the racial aspect from the persecutions of these crimes or the prosecutions of the crimes? Like, should we have a white guy in charge instead of Alvin Bragg of the Daniel Penny case? Should we have a black guy in charge of a black case?
I'll take it one step further, Rob.
Is that?
When-
I'm sorry. Does that sound racist? I
No,
don't mean
when-
to.
when you-
I don't. I'm just trying to find a solution.
No, you're
Rob,
on
when you stand trial for something, what is the term used to
Jury of
describe
your
the jury?
peers.
Yes. What are your peers? Your peers, according to the system that was designed, is that it's people of your social status, of your education, of your general intelligence, people who just like are your equivalent in society so that they can judge you fairly. Under how we currently enforce that just means any 12 people who are too stupid to get out of jury.
Well, even worse than that, what it means is you got 12 Hillary supporters jurying for a Bannon. I mean,
exactly.
You're getting... I've made the analogy that this is a modern-day lynch mob, except it's not racially motivated lynching. It's politically motivated lynching. It's politically motivated prejudice that we're seeing. Like, you could have convicted a certain race in a certain state in the 50s. Didn't matter what he did or did not do, because it was racial prejudice, and now we're just seeing political prejudice.
Yeah,
but
you look back at like the 40s and 50s, an example they always tell us about how evil the country was. A black man convicted by an all-white jury in Montgomery, Alabama in 1950, everyone knows that's a complete miscarriage of justice. But if you were today, say, that a white guy convicted by an all-black jury in New York City was the exact same thing, everybody would tell you you're out of your mind and you're being racist.
The thing is, it would never happen like that. It would be today.
Of
It would be
course,
a Republican, tried by a 12 jury of Democrats, and that's what we've seen everywhere out of D.C. We're seeing it. We saw it to some extent. Who was the one that got convicted? Oh, I won't remember, but I'm going to cross my fingers and hope that New Yorkers are waking up to the hellhole that they are ushering in.
Well, or Donald Trump wins and he pardons him because
no, it's a state charge. I don't.
Trump can't help.
Is it a state charge?
I believe
so.
It's
a state charge.
I believe so.
Yeah,
but to quote from the New York Post to give you some insight into what's going on during this case. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg's office has argued that Penny knew during the encounter that he might kill Neely, even if that was not his intention. They've cited testimony from a Marine trainer who told the grand jury that Marines are taught that chokeholds, which are meant to be a non-lethal restraint, can sometimes be fatal. However, the same trainer stated in that testimony, remember, this is the prosecution's expert witness. He's not there to help the defense. He stated that the method Penny used for the chokehold would have been insufficient to kill Neely because it did not apply pressure to his carotid arteries. The Post continued separately in the same article. Penny's defense team will put jurors in that train car and challenge them with what the safest response would have been in the face of Neely's chaos. The defense will also likely try to poke holes in the city medical examiner's ruling that Penny's chokehold caused the death. Because as soon as medical responders arrived, they administered a dose of Narcan and found a synthetic version of marijuana in his system that may have been partially responsible for the death. They have not been able to conclude through medical evidence that the chokehold is what killed him.
It sounds like a replay of Chauvin,
pretty much.
George Floyd.
George Floyd.
No neck compression that would have caused the injuries.
It was
drugs in the
meth.
system.
It was meth and a bunch of other crap he had in him.
I just wanted to clarify something you said, synthetic marijuana as opposed to actual marijuana, because actual marijuana does not and has not in the history of humanity ever called.
Certainly not in your experience.
I'm not. I've had to do some test market research, yes. But according to DC.gov, the Department of Behavioral Health, it says that synthetic marijuana is actually deadly. So I don't know what the difference between synthetic weed is and regular weed is, but whatever it is, it can cause death.
It can cause that problem. That was in his system. But the defense is also going to try to make the case of every juror, put yourself in that train car. Imagine you're in that situation. What would you have done? What would you have wanted to be done? But I think that's the wrong tactic for them to use, because we already know what the jurors would have done, because it's what most people do every single day, which is absolutely nothing. They would have sat there and let it happen, kept their head down and hope it stops and hope somebody else comes along and fixes it. Because our society has been so weakened and so neutered that people who stand up and try to address the raging maniac on the train car are thrown in jail while the rest of us turn a blind eye and go on with our business with our heads down on our phones.
That's why you can't live in New York.
I'd like to throw this tweet up. It went viral on Monday directly because of the case. This woman says, "This man on the subway was repeatedly harassing a woman, being disgusting, invading her space. Tell me effing why me and the other women around tried to intervene and tell him off, but all the young, fit guys just stood around silent and looked at the ground."
Well,
Daniel Penny is why.
Reason.
And cases just like that, where a guy who defended not only himself, but a car full of innocent women and children has been shunned and turned into this icon of white supremacy, and he's the most evil thing that we've ever heard of.
It's outside of Donald Trump.
Of course.
It is anarcho-tyranny. The criminals get the pass and the law-abiding citizens get prosecuted. And it's like, you remember what the prosecutor in Rittenhouse case, not Binger, Klaus, in the closing arguments. And he literally said, sometimes you just got to take a beating. And that's the rationale. Look, you better not risk hurting the criminal. Just sit down and take a beating and hope it's not too serious and hope he goes away.
Yeah, and I referenced this older case as well. There was a woman on the subway who was being accosted by a drug-addled homeless man, and a random guy who was walking by pulled out a gun and went in to intervene, ended up firing 2 shots towards the guy and missed. That guy was arrested. He was ultimately not charged. His aim was not, in question here, but of course it's illegal to have guns in New York City.
I don't think he missed. I think he fired the warning shots to get the guy.
I remember that case. Which
he
is
fired
even dumber.
warning shots.
And if you look at the security video taken in the subway, his shooting stance is terrible, but that's not really the issue here. The guy saw a woman being mugged and jumped in to try to help and was instead arrested for it. To quote the New York City Transit president, "I want to be clear, we don't tolerate this kind of this kind of conduct in New York City Transit, period. Once again, cameras recorded a perpetrator, and we are grateful that the NYPD made an arrest within hours. Thank goodness nobody was hurt here. But what occurred was outrageous, reckless, and unacceptable." So this man saved a woman from being mugged and was called reckless, outrageous, and unacceptable.
But the other guy didn't get arrested?
The other guy was, I believe, rounded up and then probably pumped back out onto the street, as always. And the woman that this guy intervened to save was quoted later as saying, "Yeah, I appreciated the help. I just wish he hadn't used a gun to do it."
Oh my God.
There is only one way that you beat back the feral maniacs who were targeting people on the street, and that is with violence. If we do not have a government that locks these people up to keep us safe, this is what's going to happen. These are the situations in which we find ourselves. And if we constantly punish the people who are trying to protect the world instead of the people who are making it worse, it's only going to continue. Anna Kasparian from the Young Turks just, is talking about her whole political awakening right now because she was just
molested,
assaulted, and I believe sexually assaulted by
2 homeless guys.
By homeless guys on multiple occasions.
Yep.
And turns out everybody's a liberal until they get mugged. But you know what? That's great for her. I mean, I'm sorry it happened. It's great she's waking up.
Yeah.
That's the right way.
Cancel. No, it's great. She's coming.
A rapist would say that.
It's great she's coming around to it. But the whole point is that why did it take her this long? Most people would have had the idea that you see it happening to someone other than you, and you can still figure it out.
Sufficiently sheltered within the silo and within her economic silo. Like she couldn't have had that revelation until she had a good reason to have it, without getting shunned and economically punished.
But that was the revelation that I came to with Trump. Mm-hmm. It was, I may not necessarily love his personality. I think he's hilarious. I do. I think he is probably the funniest politician we've ever had in our lifetimes. But it was the economic effect of the Joe Biden administration that made me go, well, this is wrong. And then it really made me start to realize about the media's lying about Donald Trump and the media lying and telling me that I was making more money and doing better when I could see in my bank account that I was not. So that, like earlier we were talking about how do you fix the people that are so far gone? Like Anna Kasparian, I don't think she was so far gone. She was a rational person that had something that impacted her, and then she went, oh, okay, what does it take for the rational person or the irrational people to have such negative effects in their daily lives to come around full circle?
Nothing, because they'll say it would have always been worse had Trump been.
Or what they'll say
they're like
is,
the band on the Titanic that's still playing as the ship is sinking.
And what they'll say is, I like this woman said, I appreciated the help. I just wish she hadn't used a gun.
Next time she'll end up with a cracked skull.
Exactly. So when the homeless guy picks her up and throws her in front of an oncoming train, as happens.
Do you all remember this one? This is from Denmark. A Danish 17-year-old girl who used pepper spray to fight off a rapist near migrant asylum center is told she will be prosecuted for carrying the weapon.
You covered that story.
This was a long time ago. This was 2016.
Mine was the girl
that got raped, and then she complained about it, and the police threatened to.
That shows how often it happens.
No, there's
that's
no
the whole
question.
point.
It is on the one hand, move the heck out of these shitholes. Leave New York, come to Texas, come to Florida.
You could shoot anybody.
But it'll get bad enough, and then by that point, it might be too late.
Yeah, well, and that's my whole thing is, you know what this will tell people and teach people if you're in New York, don't do shit. Okay, fend for yourself unless they're literally coming to attack you. Don't get involved with anything because that's the type of shit that happens. There's no winning in it.
Stop coming to Florida and voting for the same things that made New York a mess.
Yeah, keep that shit in New York. November 5th. Okay, we are having at Valuetainment's new building, the headquarters in Fort Lauderdale, one of the sickest. I can't express, guys. If you haven't seen this building yet, you could go to the website. You could play the video. I don't know what are you doing on election night.
I've got my own.
Oh, you're cool. You're probably gonna be with Donald Trump. But guys,
Are you going to be in an airplane hangar?
We are going live.
Level up, bro.
Yeah, it's gonna be from Tom Rob 6 to 2 a.m.
Yes, I'm sorry. Well, it could go even later than that. Pat said we are not going to end live streaming until the election is.
So we could potentially, yeah, we could be live for like 3.5 weeks.
I'm gonna be a homeless person.
No, I already am, so it works out perfect.
Yeah, guys, and we can't really tell you all the people that are gonna be coming, but it's gonna be a crazy event. Yeah, look, Elite sold out, Super VIP sold out. The VIPs are still available. The General's still available, guys. I'm telling you right now, before we started shooting, Rob was like, Vinny, I am so excited for this night. It's the level of guests, we can't really disclose who is going to be there, but trust me, it's going to be a night to remember. Maybe we'll have a couple surprises. I don't know, maybe Dave will be like, Vinny and them are cool.
I'm going to bed at midnight. Nothing good happens after.
Yeah,
after
no,
midnight.
You're right. But guys, we'll put the link at $59.90 live. That's the website. Get your tickets, guys. Everybody and their mother is going to be there. Literally, my mother's going to be there.
Mine too. So yeah, this will be awesome.